All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I normally don't make dedicated videos about a ticker. I think that's a deadly way of becoming like a fanboy or a fangirl of a stock, but I really want to cover this for two reasons. Number one, I sincerely believe this is a knowledge center video. There's a lot happening on this chart that I feel I repeat so many times on every single stock. Like, I don't care if it's a $2.90, what a lot of people would call this a penny stock. I don't care if it's a $290 blue chip, right? Technical analysis is supposed to bring everything equal, right? So I like a lot of what I'm seeing here, and I really think it's replicatable, able to be replicated. I don't know which one of those is right, but yes, that. The second thing is, look, I just made a video and I'm going to bookmark it right here at 51 seconds. And it's really not to brag. If you watch my videos, the last thing I'm here to do is brag. But if you want to learn why I thought this one was better than the rest, this is the video to watch right here, the one that I just tagged, all right? And I do this all the time, all right? I do not have enough money to buy all the good stocks that I find, all right? Sometimes I'll look just within a sector, sometimes I'll run my scanner, right? But yeah, what I try to do is find the bullish outlier, find the one that's the best in the bunch and put my money into that one, right? Because from there, if you buy too many, it gets too thin and this and that and blah, 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 all right? So, couple non-high tide thoughts right there, but oh my gosh, there's so much to like here. There's so much to like here, all right? And my thoughts, and you're gonna hear why, right? We have a high 80 RSI, and I have to respect this. I really do. But my goodness, look how long I'm zooming out. It's been since June 2022 that we've been over this golden line resistance. And my goodness, that just screams so much strength to me. All right. So I'm going to delete all these lines. 254. That's the only one I care about. That's the only one I'm writing right now as I'm saying the words. The rest we'll draw together and we'll make some fresh thoughts. But I am loving high tide right here. Okay, let's do this. Let's put this one back before we continue the video. My apologies. $2 and what? 54 cents. Cool. Perfect. Lovely. Okay, cool. So before we do go any further though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only one that matters right now. And again, I'll draw a couple other ones, but there are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, high tide. I'm really excited to talk about these technicals. Let's just kind of talk about the immediate really quickly, all right? My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. All right, I'm gonna start it here. I say it all the time. When you break all 5, you start the potential to fly. And oh man, it happens just right here, okay? There are attempts, and then it just goes. And high tide's done it before. Look at this thing, right? We've seen moments where we've broken them all and flown, where we've broken them all and flown, right? The problem is we end up finding ourselves right back under, right? So this, however, seems significantly different, and it's a lot of this break of the 254. Okay, now I always say, I put more emphasis on these 5 lines. These are computer generated lines. This system, and I don't even know how many decimals, I'm assuming at least 2. There's a couple other stocks on this thing that it covers like 5 like decimals deep, right? Like there is some computer making these moving averages that's way smarter than I am, right? However, every now and then I'll draw a decent line that over time I realize was a good one. And I mean, again, I started the video with it. I started it with this view. Since 2022, the middle of it, since 2022, we have been unable to confirm that line. All right. And oh man, you can see the moments here. That's a good candle. That's not confirmation. That's a good candle. That's for sure an interesting candle. I know I've talked about these two. At the bare minimum, you know there's nothing guaranteed here, right? I don't have a crystal ball. Oftentimes the technicals say this and that happens, but hey, knock on wood, in my opinion, more often than not, it does what it should do, right? So yeah, these two were a little odd. Good candle, no confirmation. This right here is this is where things get interesting, all right? And I swear I could talk about this candle, this 1017 candle, for maybe 20 minutes, all right? The short answer is twofold, okay? Number one, I don't respect anything outside of the lines as much as a doji. Okay, there are so many different types of dojis. I've used the word shooting star. I go back to this picture. I go back to this picture. Look at all these. That's a doji, an abandoned baby top, a long-legged doji, a morning doji star, shooting star doji, hangman doji. I don't know any of these. I have to keep writing this word and keep coming back to this picture to find it, right? To me, they're all dojis. I call them all dojis, all right? And this is a doji on a critical line. When a doji, and this is now the second of the twofold, when the one thing I respect more than, not more than, but as much as the lines, when the doji candle is on an important line. This case it was my golden resistance line. Other times it's a moving average. Sometimes it's on multiple moving averages, right? When the doji is on a critical point, the next candle will tell you the truth. And this Friday, I just made a video saying the same thing. I'm going to say it again, and I know I'll probably say it, if not tomorrow, the day after. I always believe Friday's a loser day. I never wake up expecting good things on Friday, all right? And sometimes I say that loosely. Sometimes I know the technicals are there and I'm wildly piped and humped. Wow, I can't get the word hyped and bullish. I said humped, I think. Nonetheless, right? This is a monster Friday. This is a gap up open from the Thursday doji and then a nice close. This is a destruction of the 50-day volume line, right? Like this was a monster candle, a monster answer to the doji on an important line. This was our confirmation right here. This is why, and again, look at Friday. The RSI was at 82. That probably, an 82 RSI probably would have warranted us to cool down on any other day on high tide, all right? Not today. That's what we gained from confirmation, all right? Now, I started the video by talking about that 82, and I think at this point, in my opinion, what's going to happen is we're going to do a healthy cool down back towards or around 254, okay? So why do I say that? Look, one important thing is a resistance turning into a support, okay? So this is a good example. This 8 moving average is a crazy resistance. All of a sudden, it's this support that I bounce on for a really long time. We lose it again and then we come back, right? But you get the point. The resistance should become a support and then you go. Now, the 8 moving average might actually be saying I'm wrong, because it looks like the 8 moving average is actually going to golden cross. Again, that's just going over a line, right? But it's going to cross this 254. And hey, ideally, we never lose that 8 moving average either, right? But to me, I can see us finally breaking the resistance, coming down and resetting this high RSI. And because again, you hear me say green could be a real bad red most of the time down to this 230. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to use this. Again, let me just show it one more time. Hot knife through butter, we lost it. 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 the butter is solid and our knife ain't gonna lose this thing. I really think the resistance is gonna hold, turn into a support, and then we go. This weekly ain't that bad. 74 isn't horrible, and we have the 200 moving average all the way up here with a lovely red, red, red. Absolutely, absolutely nothing to green, green, green up here, right? So the weekly is kind of saying 330 is realistic. I think what'll happen is we gotta kind of reset this 82 and then it'll go. But oh man, I like this weekly. I do. What's this? Oh, I think that's a little too high. What's that? Okay, if I had to guess, I think Friday will close around 305. I think a 305 close would give me a nice, and look, even this, all right, I'm just seeing it now and I canceled my train of thought. That's a big doji right there. That's a monster, monster candle on the weekly that broke two moving averages. That's a really big doji. And then boom, the candle after tells us the truth. We get a nice little bit more right now too. Like I'm just there's so much to like on the daily. There's so much to like on the weekly. Let's take one more zoom out. Look at that. Hey, look at that. 330 on the monthly, 335 on the weekly. That 330 is going to be a monster test. And really, I think I can see it on this chart here, right? Like, I'll delete the line. Look at it. Red, 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 nothing, 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 green, 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 red, 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 nothing. If this breaks 340, oh, there's not a lot stopping basically almost five. Again, do not think almost five on a 290 stock. And I'm obviously looking on a weekly chart, so I'm talking over weeks and weeks, right? But oh man, there's a lot to like. I think there's a real reason to maybe at least think 330 could hit, all right? Just make sure you respect that line given what we saw on both the weekly and the monthly. Let's just look at the yearly, all right? If, now look, the yearly chart is still alive. This is a live candle, right? We need to wait till the last day of the when's the last trading day of the year? We need to wait until Tuesday, the 31st of December for this to close. If we break, let's call it 310. You can say 36 for sure because this open is $3. I would say 310, 315. If we can get to that around the end of and by the end of the year, and that's where this yearly closes, next year might be shaping up well. Look at that volume. Volume's actually been very, very nice on this thing on the yearly. Again, I'm a short-term guy, right? I know I'm getting out of my comfort zone and my real I don't want to use the word expertise. I think that's way too braggy for what I try to do on these, but like my bread and butter is daily and weekly. There's so much that can happen between now and a long time from now that if I'm looking at such a short view, I feel a little more in control in this uncontrollable and crazy market. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I think that's a lot of the thoughts. 330 is realistic. Holding 250 is the goal, right? 254. I sincerely do not believe we're coming down to 216. I don't want to use the word I'd get worried if we lose 240. I don't I if you're over the 8 and the 20, there's nothing to be worried about, right? That's one of the baselines of my videos, right? So technically you can drop all the way to 215 and still be all good, right? But I don't think we're going to lose it. I'd be disappointed if it went under it, but I wouldn't be worried as long as we're over the 8 and the 20, right? I'm even seeing the 50 start to move on up, right? Like the slope was that all of a sudden we're now starting to like, oof, look at that, right? So there's a lot to like on this weekly chart. It feels, I hate using the word safe because there's nothing safe in the market. But this is telling me that we got some good weeks. We got some weeks coming. When was this? This was in 23. I don't want to use that. But look, our RSI for the year hasn't gotten much higher than where we're at now. So respect that just a little bit. But hey, if my theory is we're going to come back down, this is a good place to come down, do the healthy cool down, and then rip from here on up to at least that 3 or 330 or whatever, right? So with that, I actually said a lot of the knowledge center stuff that I really wanted to say, and I'm not necessarily going to repeat it, but I think two things. Number one, I hope you caught it all, right? Like, I've always believed that if people spoon feed you, you're not going to really gain it. I hope you caught it all. If there's something that you got a question on, you know you can shoot it on YouTube, on Twitter, on Stock Twits, on the Discord, anywhere, right? I do my best to answer them, but high tide. This is lovely. And one more time, I think what the coolest part is, Tilray is not looking good. CGC is looking all right. You can say it's kind of trying. This ain't looking like high tide. That's an easy answer, right? ACB. This ain't looking that good. High tide's up here. This thing's stuck down there, right? MSOS ain't looking that good. Again, it's trying. You can make some money. It don't look like high tide, right? SNDL, it don't look like high tide. The one that actually did look good was Trulieve. I noticed Trulieve actually looks like high tide. And I don't know if the two companies have much in common or not, but like this is another one of those interesting outliers in an otherwise bullish sector, right? So oh man, I appreciate you all so much. Let me know. I think here's the last, I keep saying the last thing. This is the true last thing. I am a dumb American. I really am. I have no idea what's going on in Canada, let alone most of the other world, unless it's really loud and all over my very limited internet world, right? So if there's some good tax things happening, if I don't even know if there's an election coming in Canada, right? Obviously, I know there's a US one, but like, let me know if there's some Canadian things I need to know. But oh man, look at that golden cross, the 50 on the 100 right there. I can't tell when to stop. I'm loving this thing. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.